welcome to the sixth and final day of the 6 dimensions to loving yourself well. Today we're going to be exploring self-love and connection to self.
The outcomes of the day are that you're going to learn about the benefits of meditation. We're going to examine the different types of meditation, and then you'll be using the gifts that we've given as part of the programme so that you can actually practice meditation as part of today's work.
And those gifts that Linda's talking about are the recordings of the different types of meditation. We have provided you with three different meditations for you to use and to experiment with and to experience as part of the programme. You're also going to explore what it means with that being connected to yourself, to that higher source, to that inner source, to whether you call it God, whether you call it the universe, whether you call it the unified field, whether you just call it me. We'll be exploring more in detail about how to connect to that sense and that feeling.
And then we'll move on to creating your personal loving plan, which is where you'll identify what you need personally in order to be able to follow the path of being able to love yourself well. This has only been an introduction, and there are many more ways that you will be able to put that into practice.
So let's begin this session today, and let's start by exploring meditation. And we'll begin by considering how meditation can help you in the 6 dimensions of wellness and how it can help in promoting that path for learning how to love yourself well.
Okay, so we'll start with the first and obvious one, which is the emotions. How does meditation help you emotionally? First of all, it helps you to easily access a feeling and a different state because you've practiced on a regular basis. So when those emotions come along that are less than helpful and less than resourceful, it enables you to have a method by which you will and almost can automatically go into that place of calm, serenity that you get through practicing meditation. So within that, it develops a resilience over time so that less things bother you. You're not doing the up here, down there, up here, down there. You're actually getting a nice, smoother flow. There'll still be ups and downs. It just means that there won't be those extreme, staccato, horrible moments that you can't deal with.
Brilliant description, Linda, thank you. Then we come to the spiritual dimension of wellness. And how does meditation help that? Well, for most people, that's where they're familiar with the notion of meditation and the notion of meditation as a spiritual practice, whether it be whichever religion it may come from. In the Christian religion, it would be the power of prayer. In the Buddhists, it would be the meditation. In the Indians and yogis, it's about meditation. Lots and lots of people have heard as far as transcendental meditation and the evidence of that as far as your spiritual practice goes. But essentially, for me, the key spiritual thing where meditation is concerned is attaching to that sense of inner peace and calmness.
And that's a wonderful description. Then there's the very obvious ways in which medicine is being used as a prescription, a social prescription for people to be able to deal with medical, physical problems. So it helps to reduce cortisol, which is the stress hormone. It helps to releases happy hormones like dopamine and serotonin that helps to raise your mood. It helps you to switch to that healing mode by physically changing what's happening. So, for example, it lowers your blood pressure. It increases the effectiveness of your immune system. So the multitude of physical benefits that you get from learning how to meditate are now only being fully researched and recognised.
It's true. And in the area of relationships and wellness, meditation enables, as Linda mentioned earlier, where your emotions are concerned, it allows you into that nice calming effect. And so therefore, when anything does happen, when someone says something, you find that you're less easily offended, you're far more tolerant, you have more compassion for others, you have more compassion for yourself, which then means that you don't go onto the defensive in the way that you would if you're anxious and stressed. So therefore, it improves relationships in a myriad of different ways.
And another relatively obvious impact of meditation is helping with your mental health. As Wendy was saying there, with the relationships, it helps stop the mind chatter. It's the mind chatter that causes issues both in thinking about the past, creating depression, in thinking about the future, and creating anxiety. So it soothes that mind chatter and helps you to relieve anxiety and to lift depression.
And if you're wondering how on earth meditation can help your financial wellness, well, what it does is when doing meditation, it enables you to access the creative and problem-solving parts of your brain, which means that should you be experiencing any concerns or worries financially, it allows you, one, to get a better perspective on that situation, and two, to be able to think of different ways and problem-solving for how to move on from that situation.
And then there are other people who claim that it enables you to manifest abundance with practice.
Yeah.
So that covers the benefits of meditation. Seems like a good thing to do. So let's look at how you can meditate.
And we're going to explore 4 different ways of meditating. And the first one is very simply stillness and focus on your breathing. And Linda's just going to take you through a little exercise so that you can get some experience of that.
It's really, really simple. Meditation doesn't require any extra things. You don't have to sit with your legs crossed. You don't have to do anything. You can do it sat up, laying down. One of the disadvantages of laying down is that you sometimes fall asleep, but if that's what you want to do, it's ideal. So one of the things about this meditation is simply place your feet on the floor, sit back upright, shoulders down, and just relax. You can allow your hands to be up facing upwards on your lap or facing downwards, whichever feels most comfortable for you. And as you're sat now comfortably, I want you to now focus on your breathing and take a deep breath in through the nose. And then breathe out through the mouth and in through the nose, just gently. Let it flow naturally. It doesn't have to be in time to me, just naturally breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then pay attention as you're breathing in to, does it feel warm? Does the air feel warm as it comes in? Does it feel cool? Does it have a scent? Just gently breathing in, and as you breathe out, just allowing the body to relax with the exhale. And then breathing in gently and exhaling gently, breathing out. And if you begin to notice that some thoughts are coming up, or that you're criticising yourself, or you're thinking things, just gently ignore it and go back to noticing your nose, noticing the sensation in your nostrils as you breathe in, and then the feel of the air as you breathe out. So what you've got there is a combination of a stillness meditation and a mindfulness meditation, paying attention to your nose. And now you can just go back to your normal breathing. If you've closed your eyes, you can open them, and we'll continue. And I'm sure you will have noticed, had you just gently been slowing your breath down, that you began to feel relaxed even in that short time. That there are people who just do a 30-second meditation to make a difference. So just simply be still and breathe. It's that old adage of take a deep breath, and it's a form of meditation. It's a form of calming you down so that your body and your brain and everything else can respond in a positive, healthier way. Other forms of meditation?
The next form of meditation that we're going to consider is that of guided imagery and visualization. And we have provided you with 2 separate guided imagery meditations that we'd like you to take the time out when you've completed today's lesson and to just sit and, as Linda said, sit in a comfortable position and listen to the meditation that it and go with where it takes you. Now, the healing journey is one that was originally came from the Bristol Cancer Centre in the UK, and it has a way that allows you to find your safe space. And we're intrigued to find out where everybody's safe space is, because when I've taught this in groups, we find that everybody has a different experience. There are no wrongs, there are no rights, there is just your experience, and that is always, always valid for you. So it's beautiful to be able to find your safe space. And we'd be intrigued and would love it if you would report it on the How to Love Yourself Well Facebook page or on the learning platform that comes with this programme on Learn Worlds.
Yeah, that's one that my mum used when she'd actually got she'd got cancer, and it was one of the things that she used to say to Wendy, take me to my safe space.
Yeah.
Because it just helped her to feel calm and not feeling the anxiety and fear that comes sometimes with that particular diagnosis.
Yeah. And then now we'll go to the next form of meditation, which Linda will take you through, and that is about the moving meditations.
Some of you may have found it really difficult to just sit still. You may notice I'm the fidgeter, I'm the one that moves possibly more than Wendy does, because that's how I am. And one of the forms of meditation that I always loved practicing was Qigong. I've done yoga as well. So yoga is a really good form of meditation, and Aikido is another. All of these are meditation and movement. So you don't actually have to sit still to meditate. And I know that Wendy loved doing Qigong because by focusing on your movement or being aware of your movement, you aren't feeling the fidgety or the needing to move and that I can't scratch, because you're just doing something. You actually enable the energy to move through your body, and the movement of that energy, as anyone who's heard anything about Chinese medicines knows, that enables the body to maintain its homeostasis, that it helps it to heal. And it's a beautiful, beautiful way to meditate for people who have got who can't sit still, essentially. If you can't sit still, a moving meditation is definitely the one that you want to do. And there is moving meditation is one of the gifts that we've recorded so that you can practice a very simple Qigong technique that Wendy learned some years ago.
Yeah. And the final form of meditation is that of mindfulness. And it is incredibly popular at the moment. And and I think Linda has a beautiful description of what mindfulness is about. Essentially, mindfulness is about being in the here and the now. Mindfulness is about being aware and taking specific notice of what is happening in the here and the now to you and within your environment. So as Linda described it when she was taking you through the breathing exercise, you were mindful of the air going in and out. Where you can be mindful whilst you're washing the pots, you can be mindful whilst going for a walk, you can be literally you can be mindful anywhere. But the key advantage to the mindfulness style of meditation is that because it keeps you focused in the here and now, when we have past memories that cause and trigger unhappiness, by being mindful, you're in the here, the now. So therefore, these past memories are not linked, and therefore you don't link into those negative emotions that go with your past memories. The other thing around mindfulness is that it also reduces and relieves anxiety, because anxiety is thoughts about the future that trigger stress. So it's thoughts, it is, so if you're not having those thoughts about the future because you're focusing on the here and the now, it takes away the anxiety and it takes away the symptoms that go with the anxiety because you're not triggering them with the negative thoughts and worries about the future. I think that about covers it.
That covers the styles of meditation that we're going to be looking at.
Yeah, there are lots more, and if you're wanting to find out more, then we would recommend that you explore further the 6 dimensions of health on our 6-month programme. We'll now move on to the next section, which is about how you link with with your inner self and your sense of peace. This second half of this programme today, we're going to be looking at that connection, and we were talking about the experience of connecting, and lots of people talk about this, and then you can go and you look and you think, what they're talking about, connecting to what? What we're talking about is the connection that is a connection to your soul, a connection to source, a connection to consciousness, a connection to God, a connection to the universe, a connection to the unified field. All of these are that connection which is the same. And essentially, Linda and I both agree that what we're talking about is a connection to love. And it's that love that is that field of love that you may call God, that you may call the universe, that you may call quantum field, but what we have a strong belief in and what is at the core of our philosophy for this program is that that is a field of love. And so we believe that that field of love is at the very core and at the centre of every single human being, that some of us are more disconnected from that field than others, that some of us have had glimpses of that field in different experiences throughout our lives. And what we're wanting to do now is to give you the opportunity to connect with that field that is, so when you go, I am, who is I? When you're going, you are aware of something, who is aware of being aware? And Linda's now going to take you through a very simple exercise, but can be very profound exercise that is about you connecting with you.
One of the things that happened one day was when I was in a therapeutic coaching session. I was in such a bad place that when my coach asked me to look in the mirror, I couldn't even look in the mirror because I felt totally disconnected. Well, I didn't know that was disconnection at that time. I just knew I couldn't look in that mirror. And it's almost because my disconnection was complete. So what we've done is we've identified a way to help you to reconnect by using a mirror. You wouldn't have known that if you were talking to us, would you? So
mirror twins, use a mirror.
There we go, yeah. So one of the ways in which you can connect to that which is more than you is by looking in a mirror. So I'm going to invite you to either write this down or play this near a mirror so that you can actually look in the mirror and ask these questions. And they're really, really simple. So I'll give you 2 minutes or switch off, go back, switch on once you've got the mirror. So now, as you're looking in that mirror, I want you to ask yourself, or ask that self being,
who's that self?
Who's that self inside you, but to ask, who's the seer behind the seeing? As you're looking and seeing, who's the seer? Who's the observer behind the observation? And then some thoughts might just be going through your head as this is happening. Who's the thinker behind the thoughts you're thinking? Who's in the space between the thoughts? And finally, just focus back on who's the seer behind the seeing. And just keep engaging yourself, looking in the mirror, connecting to that love that's from the seer behind your seeing. And when you've looked long enough, keep looking as long as you need. And when you've looked for long enough, disconnect, give yourself an inner smile, and write down in your journal what happened or didn't happen. And it's okay if nothing happened. And if something marvellous did happen,
we'd love to hear about it.
We would still like to hear about it. Okay. So I'm going to give you a little story now about how I connected to love one day. And it was part of a therapeutic process that Wendy was taking me through. I had been in, essentially, though I gave me notice in, I felt like I'd been sacked. And in the process of getting my confidence back and learning how to connect to being who I was again, I was dealing with all the emotions that had happened, all the feelings. And one of the techniques we used to use...
And one of the things that's interesting about this was when we're talking about I was connecting with who I used to be, for us and for yourself, think, when you go, who are you? Most people describe, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a chief executive, I'm a manager, I'm a builder, and we describe the roles that we take within society. So I find it interesting that Linda goes, I was connecting back to the person that I used to be, because what was key for Linda at this point was the fact that she had lost her sense of self-identification because she'd lost her job.
Yeah, it was, and it was tough. And I'm so glad that now I know I'm so much more than the work I do.
Yes.
Which is where you can arrive at by these practices on a regular basis. So back to the story of what happened that day. One of the things that we do to release emotions is enable people to identify where that emotion is trapped or suppressed
That
within
emotion
the body.
in your body.
So Wendy asked me, I'd said I was hurt because I'd actually been betrayed, and I mean deeply betrayed, by one person in particular who'd then turned an array of people against me, but deeply betrayed at the time. And it hurt. So I didn't feel revenge. I didn't want revenge. I didn't feel vengeful. Or by that time, I'd moved from feeling vengeful and I'd let that go. But what I'd still got was that deep, deep hurt that I felt at the time. And Wendy just asked me the question, so where's the hurt, Linda? And I just went, it's in every cell of my body. I couldn't separate out the emotion because it was everywhere. It was in me. And that morning we'd been preparing for a program that we were doing that was a meditation on gratefulness, on gratitude, and we'll come back to that next. I'd been preparing gratitude meditation, and within that meditation, one of the things that had been identified was that breathing in the oxygen that went to every cell of your body, and then the blood connected it all back and brought it all back out to get rid of the carbon dioxide. And I just had one of those bingo serendipity moments. I can breathe in love. So that's what I did, and breathed out the hurt. So Wendy was...
I was watching Linda. I was holding space for Linda is the best description that I can give it. Because at this point, as a practitioner, it was that I was very much relying on Linda's personal insight for her wellness. And I do believe that that's where all of us have that ability, that we have our own personal insight, but we just need someone to hold the space to enable us to follow our intuition and to follow intuition, i.e. the teaching that comes from within, and to then go with that for what we know is what's right for us at that point. As I was observing Linda doing her breathing in and breathing out, it was just quite simply a statement of me being there for her. But what happened was quite phenomenal, actually, because the whole of the room took on this pink glow. Now, I don't know about any of you that if you know about it, but in lots of the spiritual teachings in lots of the spiritual teachings, the colour that represents love is pink. And I was just sat there in a meditative state myself, but with my eyes wide open, observing this happening. And I can't describe what a privilege it felt like to be there. Linda will carry on now with the experience that she felt at that time and what happened as the outcome of her breathing in the love and breathing out the hurt and pain.
And it was, I'd just gone inside, it was deep, and I was just breathing in, much like we were earlier on, just breathing in and breathing out in that condition. And I could just feel the energy flowing through me, and I could feel the hurt just going, and the love just filling me up. And I just went to this amazing place at the end of it. It was like, it wasn't cathartic, it was cleansing. It was like I'd been washed by the love, totally cleansed. The hurt had gone, and so had all the, and I guess I did have some hatred in there. The hurt had gone, the hatred had gone, the anger had gone, everything else that was connected to it had gone, and it's just not come back in that situation at all. It was one of my spiritual aha, woo, wonderful moments. I like woo woo in that particular issue. So that's how I got to there within that, and that's what loving meant to me at that time. That I was experiencing love coming in, washing me, and healing.
And we mentioned earlier in that the other way for connecting with that self and the other way for connecting with that love that is yourself is having an attitude of gratitude. I can't help thinking about Victoria Wood whenever I say that because of a show that she did. And when you feel genuine gratitude and you cultivate that attitude, then you cannot at that time experience, if you're feeling gratitude, you cannot experience anger, hatred, fear, worry, because gratitude, well, when you've experienced any of the positive emotions, but gratitude is one that I do believe has one of the higher resonances, and it's even higher vibration than love, according to some people in kinesiology. And so when you have that, and if you're in that state of love, as Linda will say, tell you, when you are in that state of love, in any case, all you are awash with is a feeling of gratitude. So if you're not kind of going, I'm not into this, I don't get this connection business, I don't get this looking in your eyes business, what we would recommend is that you practice writing down, using your journal, doing at least 5 things a day, and if you want to do it either as a morning ritual or an afternoon evening ritual, of writing down the 5 things that you feel gratitude for. Genuine gratitude, not just saying, oh, that's a nice table there, that I feel gratitude that table's there. It is about that genuine feeling of connection. Again, we go back to that word connection with what it is that you feel grateful for. So whether it's thinking about your grandchildren, whether it's thinking about your parents, whether it's thinking about the love of your life, whether it's thinking about something like these beautiful roses at the back of us, whatever it is, it's that connection with gratitude, with genuine gratitude and thankfulness that will bring in that connection to yourself.
Yeah. And it's, I forgot what I was going to say now, but I can just cut this little bit out because I've got to I want to think about what you said because it was brilliant. It's connection to gratitude. Don't matter. Obviously not meant to be in there.
Save it for the next programme, it'll come back.
Yeah.
So how we're going to finish this course, Linda? I think that's it for now.
No.
Let's just stop that. No.
Okay, stop
14
and carry on.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah, 14 minutes is long enough. And we're going to now go on to the love journal.
Yes.
So I'm sat on. Take the tissues away. Don't want that showing.
Who's doing it when? Right. Well, this is it now. This is how. This is the end of this part of the journey. I'm looking forward to what you're going to be able to do next to complete your own personal development, how to love yourself well plan. The first thing that we'd like you to do is to complete the questionnaire if you haven't already done it, so that you know where your areas of strength are and where your development needs are in relation to being able to love yourself well. So the easy thing is, anywhere on the questionnaire where you haven't scored a mark means that you're already generally loving yourself. Whereas where you've definitely scored a point means it's an area that you need to be looking at some sort of action in order to take you forward in the future to a loving experience.
Having completed the questionnaire, what we'd also like you to do next is we want you to do a review of all of the exercises that you've done over the 6 days to the 6 dimensions of health. And we'd like you to just consider for each of the exercises the benefits that you got from it, and if there's anything else that you would like to take forward in relation to those exercises, or any questions that you might have. And it's important for you to write these down, because we'll be using this information when we come to do your 45 minutes review.
And then we'd like you to look at your journals and simply read through the journals to see the things that you initially put there and be surprised, because generally you go, really, is that where I was?
Oh, I forgot.
And how you are now. So read the journals, both your gratitude journal and your exercise journal, your reflection journal. And having read your journals, identify again those areas where you still feel that there might be something that you need to tweak and develop and take action for.
And then finally, then what we'd like you to do then is to get the headings. There's the sheet of paper that's printed off with the 6 dimensions of wellness headings. And under each heading, identify at least one topic area that you would like to do as far as your own personal development goes for loving yourself well.
So then you'll have a development plan that's your own loving yourself well plan. And I'm trying to remember what I wanted to say there, Wendy.
You'll have the start of your plan.
It is, no, it weren't that. It was something else about. I was having a reviewed journal. Having read that.
Then go under each heading, just writing one thing down for development. That next thing is phone us. Book an appointment.
Forgotten. It was something that, you know, and then you speak, and then what I was thinking goes. It's just that happened. It's okay. So, keeping ourselves in the same position, looking forward. So then, when you've identified all those areas that you need to on the form that you've got on the handout, then the next thing to do is to book your appointment call, so that you can identify what you need to do in your own personal action plan in order to continue this process of loving yourself well.
We look forward to hearing. Oh, and we would love for each of you to write, to give us some feedback. You will be receiving evaluation documentation in relation to the programme and to how it has helped you. And you will be given the opportunity when we do the 45-minute call with one of our team that you can give feedback on the progress that you've made, and also to consider areas for further development. We're really, really excited and looking forward to being able to work with you in the future. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right, move now.
I think that'll do it, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It's made me head tingle. It's your head tingling at that, it
is,
isn't it, Linda?
yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, we've
Right,
done it.
that's it.